So, it seems like something very interesting happened today. Blizzard accidentally released the world bosses early and had people running to the LFG like a fat guy at the deli aisle. And trust me, I know that from experience, bitch. However, though, the company that people love to stroke the shaft on so much and swallow the gravy because they're bored and they have no better game to play has definitely fucked up this time around. It seemed like Blizzard accidentally released the world bosses early and then they fixed it immediately, quote unquote. The Sha of Anger Galleon were supposed to come 1 week after the Heart of Fear, but it came out today, and people are already getting 496 gear, and people have been already forming groups and forming scripts to track the world bosses, and people were on top of it like a hawk. Blizzard, I don't think you expect anything less from your player base. When something is coming out, they will spread the news like a wildfire through Canada, which I hope nothing bad is happening over there, and much love to them. But still, that is the truth. That is how it gets spread. When the wildfire happens in World of Warcraft, everybody finds out about it relatively fast. Exploit early, exploit often. That's on you, Blizzard. That's not on the community. What I don't understand is why is the communication so piss poor from Blizzard? I don't get it. It makes me wonder about that Bellier video that just came out, him talking about the 1,900 layoffs from Microsoft and how it really actually affected the communications team more than anything, and also at the same time how they are outsourcing their things to third-party, external parties. I don't understand why you guys are doing this. You guys are like a majillion-dollar company. You could buy Bobby Kotick 46,000 yachts and get fucking a couple blondes to lick the caviar off his nuts for free at this point. And I'm just telling you, that's just the honest truth. I really don't get what's going on here. This makes zero sense why your game is just straight up shit for no reason at all, because you don't have enough passion and love for the game itself that the players do. The players give a fuck about the product more than you guys at this point, because you guys are fucking up Classic in so many different ways that people are losing trust when it comes to the future of where you're going to make the next version of this game. What I want to know right now is, why is it that the world bosses are released? Why is the raid released? Why is it called accidentally released? It seems like poorly planned more than accidentally at this point, because you had a shitty launch, you had contender gear out for weeks, you had bugs going on with the professions for several times already, people able to put that contender gear on the auction house and make money off of that. Also at the same time, now get early ahead of the curve style loop before Moshagan vaults with these world bosses and being able to access the raid before the date was supposed to come out. And there's several other things as well that we haven't even mentioned. That's just the tip of the iceberg before the boat hits it, okay? Settle down, Titanic. Now let's scratch all that, Blizzard. Let's get to the, the cream of the crop. What are you going to do about it at this point, guys? We need communication. Are you going to revert this? Are you going to do a 24-hour rollback? What is exactly going to happen? Because you've done rollbacks in the past before with Hardcore WoW, so I know it's capable of doing something of that nature. What are you going to do here? Because people are rolling around with 496 gear, they're rolling around with World Boss gear, I can't even speak right now. They're rolling around with fucking Moshagan Volts gear right now as we speak, amigos. So we need to do something. Somebody needs to get packed up, whether it's in the Blizzard team or somebody needs to get packed up in the Blizzard game, maybe several people. You got to do something about it. It's just not right. It doesn't treat anybody else with fairness that is looking forward to raid on the day that you said the raid was supposed to come out on. So I really think this needs to be fixed, because you already have Reddit posts of people going crazy, how they wanted to exploit early, exploit often. You already have people in your own Twitter comments. Your own Twitter comments are letting you know that people are exploiting right now. It's gonna happen. Blizzard, you started the wildfire. People are gonna harp on it. They're gonna spread it. That's what people do in your game. You gave them the gateway to do it, and now if you don't fix it up and clean it up, you're going to look like the idiots here. You're going to look like the bad guys, to be honest with you, because this is your fault. This is your issue here. So please, Blizzard, acknowledge this sooner than later. Otherwise, people are not going to have no faith in Mr. Pandaria and where this game is going to, because it seems like it is truly, at the current moment, a shit show. I've been enjoying myself at the most, doing arenas, doing challenge mode. That's what I'll be doing tonight as well. And I've just been having fun. But everything else, I'm not going to deny it. It's not looking great, man. And I just wanted to add this in as well, because I just saw, on Twitter that there was issues being complained there, and on Reddit as well, but it's also going on in your own forum posts, and people overall want this reverted. I believe at the end of the day, Blizzard, if you're going to announce something on a specific date, it has to come out on that date when the door opens, not a day before, not a night before. It has to come out on the day. And maybe you guys had, an internal issue that happened with a patch or coding. I'm not too sure. I really don't care on that part. I care about your response you're going to give, because there needs to be some type of rollback at this point. Whether it's a small DPS of a fraction of a DPS increase, or a tank increase, or a healing increase, it's still an increase that a lot of people are not going to have. And they're still going to be that much more ahead of the curve by a small smidge amount, but that's still a small smidge that no one deserves to have because of your mistakes. This is a problem. You have to fix it, because this is what happens when you give something to the Blizzard community on your own mess ups and they take advantage of. You're going to get these results. You're going to get this outcome. Now those players are not going to want their gear getting taken away from them, but at the end of the day, it's just the truth. Blizzard messed up and they have to rectify it, and everybody knows it at this point on forward. They know it's not really supposed to happen. So Blizzard, you got to get on top of the ball with this one, because if you guys choose not to, let's be honest here, if you don't choose to revert any of this at all, and you're just going to say to your community, hey, well, it looks like you guys are just going to have to catch up. We apologize, we messed up, but we cannot revert these characters. We have to just go on with the release date, and please enjoy the Mist of Pandaria raids. If you say that, what you are basically telling your community is, listen, in the future, if we ever have mistakes like this again, these are mistakes we are never ever going to be able to rectify. We cannot approach this, we cannot touch this without breaking something else. And unfortunately, the people who got any exploitation, or who did exploit it often more than none, are going to always have an advantage over the entire rest of its player base. That is not a good sign. That is not a good look, and that's not healthy for your own MMO. With all due respect, I'm just keeping it $150 with you. And here's the thing. I'm looking forward to raiding on the right date. I'm raiding on the 3rd for me in my raid. We're going in with our 10-man. I've been doing arenas on the daily. I'm entering challenge mode tonight. That's what I'm doing. So I'm already having fun. But I will say there are problems going on, Blizzard, and I just really hope you start rectifying these things. Listen to your community. Heed to your community. A lot of good things happen when you listen to your player base. Not all the time, but when you hear in the mass majority there's a current problem going on, more than likely there is an issue that needs to be resolved. So it seems like even within this own video, I had to make an update. Blizzard decided to temporarily suspend players for accessing all the content earlier today. Let's go into it. Due to an issue earlier today, players were briefly able to encounter world bosses in Mist of Pandaria Classic ahead of their originally scheduled release. We quickly returned the game to its intended state, and we're now going to release the world bosses early for everyone. Sha of Anger and Galleon will become available again, starting today when Moshagon Vaults is open properly at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please note the world bosses did not have any ability to drop tier 14 raid gear when they were briefly available earlier today, and they will not drop tier 14 gear until after the first weekly content reset following the release of Heart of Fear raid. We advise players not to use bonus rolls on Sha of Anger unless you're hoping for PvP gear. Again, Sha of Anger will not drop any PvE gear until the first weekly content reset following the Heart of Fear raid. Now for Moshagon Vaults. Due to the same bug earlier today, the Moshagon Vaults raid was briefly accessible to players before being closed, and a very small group of players were able to kill the bosses inside. To address this, we identified all the accounts that gained early access to the raid and were found to have killed a boss, and all had been temporarily suspended. The suspensions are long enough to keep them out for a few hours, a time frame that will include the first clears of the Moshagon Vaults. We take fair play seriously. We believe that this is the case where the open raid was clearly unintended, and those who exploit such situations should gain no advantage from doing so. So basically what you're saying here now, Blizzard, is that everybody who participated in that earlier is at fault, and nobody internally in the company had any issue to do with this. Not that you guys unintentionally messed up and there was something going on with the devs over there, but it's the player's fault for taking advantage of something that you guys messed up in your own game. This is something on you. How about temporary suspensions for people internally instead of temporary suspensions on your player base that is just playing the video game, that is just accessing something that is coming out? I wasn't a part of it. I don't care. But what I do care for is the player base. I care for the player. The player did not do anything wrong in this sense because they exploited your thing. They're taking advantage of something that you messed up on. So where's the ramifications of your actions for your own team for messing up? Where's the apology there? Instead, you're attacking the player base, you're suspending the player base, and once again, you're really showing the player base that you only care about yourselves. You do not care about the Blizzard player base in total. So I'm just going to say it straight up here and be honest with you guys. I really feel like these suspensions are unnecessary. What they should have done is re-rolled back the gear or made the gear unaccessible where they couldn't equip it after a certain item threshold, something of that nature, but instead they attacked the player base and they showed their true colors in this situation. I'm not a fan of that. I really don't respect that, and I don't think that's how a company should operate when you have a community that's been giving you millions and millions upon dollars every year that supports your product, especially when it comes to Classic, retail, and so on and so forth. Not a good decision, Blizzard. I hope you like that video, guys. I'm keeping it real with you. Much love to you. Keep on keeping on, all that good stuff. And I just want, MoP to be fucking fun for everybody. I want the game to be working properly, and we not have these fucking bullshit issues to even begin with, and, have further things addressed. Blizzard, better get on the communication. Get off the T-Mobile sidekick and get on the Discords or something. Please, for the love of God. Much love to you. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, bitches. Tastes like Blizzard early releases. Shoo!